So let's cut through the bullshit and talk about what's actually at stake here, because both sides are screaming at each other and regular people are getting caught in the middle. The government runs out of money September 30th at midnight. That's the deadline. To avoid a shutdown, Congress needs to pass either a full year funding bill or a short term extension called a continuing resolution. Boring, boring, boring. Where Republicans, they want a clean CR that funds the government through November 20th. No add ons, no policy changes. Just keep this shit train rolling, I guess. Democrats say, fine, we'll vote for that. But we want something back that the whole country is screaming about. We want the Affordable Care Act premium tax credits. They want to negotiate a little bit on all the ridiculous amount of cuts they made to Medicare, Medicaid, giving all the money to the rich. Nobody likes this bill, and they're celebrating it, trying to stuff it down our throats like we're going to eat it. So these are subsidies that help millions of Americans, and if they expire, they're already telling us that the premiums are going to increase. So the premiums are going to increase whether they roll it back or not. But let's get it less increase. So Democrats are saying, let's fix this now while we're doing the funding bill. Republicans, no, pass the CR first, then we'll talk about ACA subsidies later. And Democrats are like, yeah, we've heard that. Definitely heard that before, especially this last 8 months of complete, absolute rule breaking, law breaking, amendment breaking. So they're saying, like, once the government's funded, you'll have zero incentive to negotiate, just like they haven't had any up until now. And honestly, I don't blame them, because here's the thing. In the Senate, you need 60 votes, and there's only 53 Republicans. So Republicans will need 7 Democrats to jump over the fence. And what does Trump do with Democrats having all this leverage? He cancels the meeting with Schumer and Jeffries and calls their demands unserious and ridiculous, then flies off to Long Island for 3.5 hours of golf. Now, Trump finally agreed to meet with them today, with 2 days before the deadline. Speaker Mike Johnson said Trump wants to convince them to follow common sense. Convince them, not negotiate, convince them. Yeah, that sounds like a good faith effort, to compromise. So let's talk about what the White House keeps saying versus what's actually true. The White House says Democrats want $1 trillion in new spending and free health care for illegal aliens. That's bullshit. Democrats want to extend the ACM premium tax credits. The cost is only $35 billion per year, so $350 over the next 10. Not $1 trillion, not even close. And these subsidies do not go to illegal aliens. They go to American citizens who buy health insurance on the exchanges. Middle-class families, small business owners, freelancers, people who don't get insurance through their employer. The subsidies make their premiums actually affordable. And here's why Democrats are fighting for this now. So earlier this year, Trump passed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And he's actually changing the name because now people already hate it. So thinks a name change, rebrand will do it. It's worked for 4, I guess. So that bill gut Medicaid. It made it harder for people who qualify for coverage. It rolled back healthcare protection. So Democrats are saying, you just slashed healthcare for millions of people. The least you can do is extend these subsidies so people can afford their premiums coming up. And Republicans, nah, we'll think about it later, maybe, if we feel like it. And this is what Republicans are calling insane demands and unserious and ridiculous, helping people afford health insurance. Let's talk about what shutdown actually costs, because it isn't just politics. Like, these are real consequences for real people. So according to EY Parthenon, every week of a shutdown costs the U.S. economy about $7 billion. $7 billion per week when the government shuts down. So food safety inspections stop, immigration courts close, small business loans delayed, national parks closed, federal lending frozen. But here's the one that really matters right now. The Bureau of Labor Statistics is supposed to release the September jobs report on October 3rd. That's next week. The Federal Reserve needs that data to make decisions about interest rates. Your rates affect your mortgage, our car loans, our credit cards, our savings. The Fed's next meeting is October 29th. They're trying to figure out, if they should cut the rates again or hold steady. So Trump's totally on board with costing the economy $7 billion more a week, delay critical economic data, permanently fire thousands of workers, because he doesn't want to negotiate in health subsidies that help Americans. And instead of staying in Washington to work on this, he spent Friday watching golf. So let me tell you what should happen. One, Trump should sit down with Schumer and Jeffries and actually negotiate, not convince, not make them see reason, negotiate, give something, get something, reach a compromise. I know, revolutionary concept. Two, Republicans have to stop pretending extending healthcare subsidy is some radical demand. It's not. It helps people afford insurance. That's it. Three, Democrats should make crystal clear what they need and what they'll compromise on. Four, the White House should immediately rescind that OMB memo about mass firings. Shutdowns are not opportunities to purge the workforce. They're not weapons against opponents. They're failures of governance that hurt real people. There are hundreds of thousands of federal workers who don't know if they're getting paid next week. There are millions of Americans who don't know if their health insurance premiums are about to skyrocket. And the President of the United States spent Friday at the golf tournament. So the government is about to shut down. Trump met with congressional leaders today, and if history is any guide, they'll probably kick the can down the road with some last minute deal. Or, we'll actually shut down. Trump will use it to fire workers, and both sides will blame each other while real people suffer. So, one way or another, remember this. When Trump says he had to fly to New York to give the Ryder Cup team a pep talk, remember, he couldn't find time to meet with Democratic leaders to prevent a shutdown. When Republicans say Democrats are being unreasonable, remember, Democrats just want to help people afford the health insurance. And when someone tries to tell you this is normal political dysfunction, remember, Trump's administration sent a memo to prepare for mass permanent layoffs. This isn't normal, has never been normal, and we shouldn't pretend it is. Again, how stupid do they think we are? This is Lies of the Orange Era. I'll catch you next time.